Hi, I'm Nick. Here's how I found the most powerful artifact in ancient history.
Since I was 4, I've dreamed of discovering mysterious ancient relics. Until now though, the only ancient relic I've discovered was on this Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. But then I discovered a book from a historian named Graham Hancock, who claims the Lost Ark of the Covenant, the elaborate gold chest that Moses built to carry the 10 Commandments, was a radioactive machine that shot jets of flame and incinerated entire armies. The Old Testament is full of stories of people opening the ark to look inside and instantly burning to ash. Then everyone else in that town develops horrible tumors. The Nazis believed the Lost Ark was a powerful weapon that would make their armies invincible, so they spent years looking for it. They never found it, but Graham Hancock did, guided by historical texts and traditions, from the Bible to the Talmud to the Quran to Ethiopia's Kabra Nagast. Just out of curiosity, I tried to calculate what this priceless centerpiece of 3 major religions would be worth today if someone were to, say, sneak it onto an unregistered cargo plane and fly it to a quiet black market auction in Transnistria. Not that I would consider doing that. I was just curious, but it would cover the cost of my flights. And if it really is a weapon powerful enough to make an army invincible, I'm sure I could think of something to conquer. So I went to go find the Lost Ark myself. They say the journey of 1,000 steps starts in Miami International Airport, and then pauses when you're selected for additional screening, possibly because of your suspicious mustache. Last one?
Yes.
Were they holding up the plane for me?
Yes.
Wow, I'm happy they did. Thank you very much. I just got out of such an intense series of screening procedures. My first great discovery of the trip happened before we even took off. A man who can fold completely in half and then sleep that way. I unfortunately can't fold, and so I couldn't sleep.
No, thank you.
Instead, I watched a movie about finding the Lost Ark. By the way, this is my friend Clay who came along.
The adventure began. Yes.
At this point, you might be wondering, what is the Ark and why is it lost? To tell you that, I have to start with a baby named Moses, who was born to Hebrew slaves right after the Pharaoh of Egypt declared that all newborn babies of Hebrew slaves were to be killed immediately. However, his mother had a different idea. She said, I'm gonna take my baby, wrap him in a blanket, put him in this basket, and then float him down the Nile at night and hope for the best. Which is basically what happened, because then Moses is discovered by the princess, the daughter of the Pharaoh of Egypt. And she says, I'm gonna adopt this baby and raise him as my son in the royal palace. I did some field research by going out on the Nile myself. I didn't find any floating babies, but these guys sailing the boat were about 12, which is still very young. So Moses is educated on the sciences, on governance, the arts, and probably trained as a high priest, learning the temple secrets. So the priests of Egypt were different than priests today. Graham Hancock believes they were essentially magicians, possessors of powerful ancient knowledge of the sciences that granted them these abilities that were perceived as supernatural. So they would use this profound understanding that they had of physics and biology and mathematics to convince society of their divine authority. So you're probably wondering where I'm getting this. It sounds like I'm making it up. But there are these 2 extensively studied, widely celebrated ancient scribes, Herodotus and Plutarch, who both write about witnessing these high priests of Egypt carrying gold staffs that they would throw on the ground and transform into snakes, which they could then control. Then they would grab the snake and pick it up and it would become a gold staff again. The high priest could also control water, according to Herodotus, and according to an ancient document that archaeologists found called the Westcar Papyrus, which tells the story of Pharaoh Sneferu, who, despite the name, is well loved by women. He's surrounded by concubines on a boat on a lake. They're having a great time until one of them drops her prized bracelet in the lake. She panics. He says, no, don't panic. I have the solution. So he calls for his high priest, who runs as fast as he can to the lake.
We are going to try to make our flight.
As the priest gets there, the Pharaoh calls out to him.
Do the thing!
So the high priest does a magic spell. He lifts the water out of the lake. And the girl walks along the now empty lake bed and picks up her bracelet. Then she walks safely back to the shore before the priest lets the water fall back down to the earth. I'm assuming that girl was never invited back out on the lake, but the Westcar Papyrus doesn't tell us. So Hancock believes that part of this powerful ancient wisdom that the high priests are passing along to each other, that gives them these kind of supernatural seeming abilities, is how to build things, boxes specifically. These very powerful boxes with very unique attributes, like this one that was found in King Tut's tomb. And if this box looks familiar, that might be because it matches almost exactly the description of the Lost Ark of the Covenant. The same dimensions, same materials, the same construction techniques. So jumping ahead a little bit, when he turns 80, Moses decides it's time to lead his people out of their enslavement under the Pharaoh of Egypt. So Moses is leading these thousands of people through the desert. And when they get to the Red Sea, he doesn't make them take their shirts off and start swimming. He controls that water out of the way. I understand how he felt, really wanting to just get out of Egypt. When I was at the Great Pyramids and I got arrested, I made the mistake of using my whip, which I learned scares camels. And that scared the security guard, and then he called the police.
Those guards, or police, just...
Yeah. Then the police detained me and brought me to this half-underground massive surveillance complex that's right there on the Giza Plateau with dozens of police officers watching hundreds of cameras. And the head of that police unit goes through my phone and deletes everything I filmed that day. He couldn't find the recently deleted folder. Neither of us could. So I still have that footage.
Wow, there's really no shade out here. Let's stop for a second.
Seeing how useful Indiana Jones's whip had been in helping him find the Lost Ark, I'd been looking for my own whip.
You know a whip?
Every day of this trip.
Thought it was a whip.
Where would you go to get a whip? We're looking for like a whip.
I'm also looking for a whip.
Oh, yeah.
I want to put a whip here, like, you know, unbelievable.
Do you want to come find one?
I don't think you'll find here anything.
After about a day of looking, I found this one.
We need to sharpen up those skills there.
But then I just had to accept the fact that if I was serious about finding the Ark, I needed a better whip.
I have to give you this one brown.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is for the
Thank
best.
you guys. See you later.
All the best. See
Thank you
you
very much. Thank you. Oh, listen. How do you do it?
Oh, like this.
Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah.
He would lift it and then crack it.
Aye.
So Moses leads the Hebrews on a year-long walk through the desert to get to Mount Sinai. In 1400 BC, that's how you would get places. You would walk. But we were not going to walk.
Can I speak with the concierge?
Say it one more time. The name of the station is Go Bus. Go Bus.
I think I see him. يا عم خش انت خش بالعربية.
Do you guys know where Go Bus is?
You're in line to buy a ticket? Buy a ticket. Mount Sinai. St. Catherine bus. No St. Catherine. So that bus doesn't go where we're trying to go. It goes past where we're trying to go. Along a different highway.
This guy has been 7 minutes away for 13 minutes. Hi there. How are you? Have you ever driven to Mount Sinai? Like St. Catherine and Mount Sinai?
It's this drive.
How many hours does it take to drive there? 8 hours. 8 hours? Would you be available tonight?
Yes.
You want the update?
Let's take the update.
We're talking about the price. I confirmed that he has enough energy. I think he does. All right. How are you?
How are you? What's your name?
My name is Ahmed.
My name is Clay.
Khaled?
At first, we couldn't understand why it took Moses a year to walk from Cairo to Sinai. It just doesn't seem that far. But then we hit our first checkpoint, which involved 20 minutes of waiting while unfriendly soldiers searched our car.
That's weird. Not friendly.
At the second checkpoint, we waited 25 minutes.
These guys even work here?
I don't know. They're not
Are
in
they
uniform.
detectives or are they just like guys? Is it like, oh, now you gotta pay me to get my passport back, you bitch?
Third checkpoint was another 20 minutes.
We just hit something. What was that?
I don't know what is this called in English, but it's called cartera.
Oh, it's just part of the car fell off. Okay.
What is this one?
This is the Department of Interior.
Were we suspicious?
Fourth checkpoint was almost half an hour.
Can you imagine us driving?
Oh, we would have been
We'd have been
screwed.
so taken advantage of.
Checkpoints 5 through 12 were faster, but still took time.
That's number 7.
Once we got to Mount Sinai, at about 2 a.m., it took us 4 hours to climb to the top. When Moses came up here, he came up here alone. And the way he made sure of that was by posting guards.
All down these trails around the base of the mountain so that no one could follow him. We didn't sleep last night.
The Bible describes smoke, fire, thunder, earthquakes, and an intense glowing radiance while Moses was up here. Exodus chapters 25 through 31 list the instructions Moses received for constructing the ark while he was on Sinai. Incredibly precise dimensions, materials, and specifications that indicate Moses was following a technical blueprint for an actual functional device.
Well, we made it to the top of Mount Sinai, where God made loud tourists.
Hancock believes the reason Moses was so insistent that no one follow him up and see what happened during the 40 days that he was receiving the 10 Commandments is that he was using the secret advanced building techniques that he had learned as a high priest of Egypt to build a container that would not only hold the 10 Commandments but protect them as a high-power energy device capable of killing anyone who came too close. Like Uzzah, the Levite who got fried when he tried to prevent the ark from tipping off a cart when an ox stumbled. Not a good day for Uzzah. Or Nadab and Abihu, nephews of Moses who, despite orders not to, entered the tabernacle containing the ark and made unwelcome offerings. Not a good day for Nadab and Abihu. Or the 70 men of Beth Shemesh who were incinerated for looking at the ark. But the ark didn't just protect the 10 Commandments that were inside it. Moses would lead this small column of soldiers carrying the ark at their front against vastly superior armies. Philistines outnumbering them 10 to 1 or 20 to 1, and Moses would win. The Old Testament and the Quran and the Torah describe the ark as a thing of fire that would launch these shafts of flame or lightning and just tear up these huge armies around them, making this small army invincible until finally they were so outnumbered and so confident that they couldn't lose, that they did lose. In a devastating defeat, the Philistines captured the ark, and believing that they now possess the most powerful weapon on earth, they bring it to one of their major cities to study it and learn how to use it. Ashdod, it was called. That's around 1050 BC. But within a few days of arriving in Ashdod with the ark, they realize that something very wrong is happening. People throughout Ashdod are suddenly developing these tumors and lesions, and people start dying. So the Philistines bring the ark out of Ashdod to another major city called Gath, where within a short period of time, people throughout the city start developing symptoms similar to those experienced around the nuclear reactor meltdown in Chernobyl. So the Philistines move it out of Gath to a third city called Ekron, and within a few days, people are suffering from what today we would call radiation poisoning. In the Old Testament, Numbers 4, there are these strangely specific instructions about the type of thick protective garments, insulating skins that people need to be safe near the ark. So all these sources say that the ark had this outer layer of gold. One of the unique characteristics of gold is its ability to scatter or absorb radiation. So if it really is this radioactive weapon, that makes a lot of sense. And then 2 cherubs on the top as electrodes, making the ark effectively one big capacitor, could be a way of channeling the energy being generated inside. Okay, but regardless of what you think it is, where is the ark? A lot of scholars believe that the ark arrived in Jerusalem with King David in 1000 BC, and that his son Solomon then built a temple dedicated to housing the ark. This temple, which today is called the Dome of the Rock. And this foundation stone inside is where the ark is believed to have sat for hundreds of years. One mainstream archaeological theory is that the ark was then taken from this temple in 586 BC when the Babylonians invaded and destroyed Jerusalem. And then another popular theory is that in preparation for those raids, as the armies were approaching, the ark was hidden in the cave network below the temple so that it wouldn't be taken.
What's in there?
Just a small tomb. And then it ends. Oh, but then it goes... Yeah, maybe it just ends.
In 1118 AD, 9 Frenchmen who believed this theory established an order that would be known as the Knights Templar. Their mission was to find the ark. They established their first headquarters in this mosque across the courtyard from Solomon's temple, from which they dug a tunnel all the way under the foundation stone. Graham Hancock believes the Templars didn't find the ark under the Temple of Solomon, but that they instead found a hidden trove of ancient documents that contained the secrets of sacred geometry, the long-lost building principles used to construct the pyramids, which the Templars then put to use building the first Gothic cathedral, which suddenly introduced all these incredible construction innovations that totally reinvented architecture.
I wonder who was buried here.
Us, maybe, if we don't escape.
It's a great breakfast, eh?
The theory Hancock believes is that the ark was never hidden below the Temple of Solomon, but instead secretly removed by priests to protect it from an evil king, possibly through this incredibly long water tunnel, which was dug to survive an Assyrian siege.
It never ends.
There's a sock. Yeah. Why?
That king was King Manasseh, who the Bible describes as a wicked king who practiced witchcraft and even sacrificed his own son to the pagan god Baal.
Daylight.
Oh, this is real life. They're excavating.
Wow, this is cool. This guy found something. Oh, it's a sandwich.
King Manasseh, who resented the Ark and everything that it stood for, desecrated the Temple of Solomon. He started filling it with all these pagan worshipping artifacts. Hancock believes the priests who were responsible for protecting the Ark secretly removed it from the temple and started its long, dangerous journey south.
Whoa.
Father, well, if you haven't, that would be that name.
Do you think
We're gonna see if we
the
can
Ark
get in there.
of the Covenant was in the Dome of the Rock?
That's an interesting question. Some people think it's in Ethiopia. I think so too.
Axum, a major trading empire described in a 3rd century Greek maritime guide as one of the 4 great powers of the world, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. But today, Axum is the center of conflict in one of the world's bloodiest recent civil wars. In fact, just a few years ago, intense gunfights broke out in the streets of Axum between Eritrean and Tigray forces, and a lot of civilians lost their lives.
But you cannot guarantee, I can't say that everything is safe. I cannot say that.
I was introduced to a couple local Ethiopians. When I was messaging with them, they said, "Don't come, it's not safe. And if you do take the risk of coming, avoid car rides. You might be kidnapped." When Graham Hancock came to Axum 30 years ago, what he found was shocking. Men with guns everywhere guarding the Ark. And he says you can walk right up to the gates of the chapel that the Ark is in, and if you're lucky, you can even meet the monk who guards the Ark, the only living person who's seen the Ark, the keeper. There's only one keeper at a time, and these keepers, as soon as they accept that role, they have a very short lifespan. They only live 2 or 3 years, and then they're replaced by the next keeper. And not only do they die very soon after taking the responsibility of spending every day and night near the Ark, but they go blind. They develop cataracts. When Graham asked the keeper he met about this, what was causing his blindness, the monk looked at him through his clouded eyes and said, "The Ark is a thing of fire." Cataracts are a symptom of radiation exposure.
Brother, what's the best way to go? Ooh, best way to go into town. Should I get a taxi? Yeah. Okay. Should I trust them or? We're gonna take a hotel shuttle into town, which is safe. Yes. Hi there. Nice to meet you. Who is? Thank you. Who is this?
I'm tour guide, I can explain.
Oh, you're a guide.
Yes, I can
Okay.
explain.
Tell me your name again.
That's fine.
Have you been inside the St. Mary's Cathedral? Where they have the...
Yes, we have people with the Ark.
Yes. The only person that can actually see the Ark is him, right? No one else is allowed.
No one.
Tesfaye grew up in Axum, attended Axum University, and got a master's degree in Ethiopian history.
The Ark is in there?
Yeah, the Ark.
It's in there.
Yes,
Holy shit.
Yeah. Denver Street. This is called Denver Street.
Denver Street?
Yes, because Axum and Denver, 2 sisters and 2 brothers, the same.
Denver?
Denver in
Colorado?
Colorado, yes.
Where are they going?
That's the Pope.
The Pope is one of those the keeper? No. Okay.
Tesfaye also happens to be friends with the priest in charge of St. Mary's Cathedral.
I can show with the Ark side.
Welcome to the holy city, to Axum Mary Zion Church.
Painting of Benedict the First.
Oh, cool. The real Ark covered inside.
I ask him, can we go there, to the small chapel holding the Ark? He looks at me reluctantly. He doesn't want to take me there. That's not part of the tour. I said, can we just go look at it? That's why I came. So we walk up to the front gate, and he says, that's the closest you get. On the way back to the hotel with Tesfaye, I said, is there any way we can see the keeper? And Tesfaye says, almost no one has ever seen him. It just doesn't seem like he's going to be stepping out of the chapel anytime soon.
Big king, big obelisk.
Yes.
Small king, small obelisk.
So these were like medium-sized kings?
Yes, middle-sized kings.
Maybe smaller king over here?
Smaller kings.
Okay. And then maybe very small king back here? Right there.
I was disappointed. It would have been so interesting to see the keeper and such a good way to complete this journey.
Oh, this is crazy.
But I knew it wasn't going to happen. And once again, I was wrong. Tesfaye got a call from the high priest of St. Mary's. He wanted me to see the keeper, so he'd arranged a special ceremony that night.
Hi there. Oh.
At night, the gates of the compound are locked, so my first instinct was to climb over the fence, which wasn't that high. Turns out it's good that we didn't, because I would have been shot by the soldiers in the guard tower I hadn't seen. Tesfaye had a long conversation with one of the soldiers.
Hi.
Then we were sent to an entrance on the back side of the compound. I asked Testify, who are all these ladies lying on the ground? At first I thought they were asleep, then realized they were all awake praying. And he said these are just true believers who want to be close to the Ark. After midnight, the church grounds are very different than during the day, completely empty. And there's a certain weightiness. You can almost feel this power in the air.
It's lit up at night. This is wild.
Next to the chapel, there's a 600-year-old abbey where we heard dozens of monks singing a prayer hymn. I've never heard anything like it.
Do you think this keeper gets lonely? Just by himself?
As we're there waiting, the minutes passing, now it's 2 a.m., I start questioning kind of everything. What am I doing here? What is it about this missing artifact that has the power to draw people from around the world and dedicate sometimes their entire lives to finding it? What is that? Is it the immense wealth that the Ark offers? Or the power? Or is it the adventure? The risk taken for the possibility of finding something truly meaningful. A chance to step out of the box I live in. Then it happened. The keeper comes out of the chapel. He's too far away for me to see his eyes. I can't tell if they have cataracts, but he can see. He approaches these monks who have come up to the front gate. Then Testify tells me to wait here. Wait. And he goes up. Thanks, Testify. Thank you. I'll just sit here while you go meet the keeper. Then I see this heavy smoke pluming up. I smell thick frankincense. He's burning this tree resin that's been used for ceremonies for thousands of years. I would have felt like we were 2,000 years in the past if there weren't 500 lights all along the outside of this chapel. I could not figure out why they did that. It felt a little bit like a Las Vegas version. Then he comes around the other side of the chapel, past this other monk, then walks right back into the chapel. And that was it. Okay, that last part didn't happen, but I think everything else you just saw did. I spent the whole flight back wondering, did I just find the home of the most powerful artifact in ancient history? Or was I just the next fool blinded by my desire to believe?